welcome to today class of nonlinear vibration. So, today class we are going to discuss more regarding the bifurcation, stability and bifurcation of equilibrium points. So, already we have studied regarding the single degree of freedom system, free and force vibration. We have used different methods to solve this equation of motion, and we have taken different type of dampings. For example, we have taken the viscous damping, then we have taken the Coulomb damping, quadratic damping, and we have found the response for all these methods. Also, we have taken this Rayleigh damping, then Van der Pol oscillator, and we have studied the free vibration response of the system in case of systems with different type of dampings. Further, we have taken these single degree of freedom systems with Duffing oscillator. So, here we have studied the systems with both weak and strong forcing term. So, in many cases the system may not be only single degree of freedom system. So, it may be a multi degree of freedom system or continuous systems. So, in case of multi degrees of freedom system, so one can reduce this multi degrees of freedom system to that of a single degree of freedom system by using modal analysis method. So, briefly let me tell how we can reduce. For example, let us take a 2 degrees of freedom system and see how we can reduce that thing to that of a single degree of freedom system. So, let us take the coupled equation of a coupled 2 degrees of freedom equation. So, in case of single degree of freedom system, we are writing this equation in this form, that is mx double dot plus kx plus cx dot. So, let me take some nonlinearity also, plus alpha x q, let it is equal to f sin omega t. In case of multi degrees of freedom system, so M will be replaced by a mass matrix, M will be a matrix. Similarly, this K will be replaced also by a matrix, K matrix. C will be replaced by a damping matrix, and this alpha x q term. So, this nonlinear term and the forcing term we may take to right hand side and write them as a single vector. So, that is, so we can take a vector, for example, let with f a vector, or let us take a vector f which contains both. So, it will contain, let it is f sin omega t minus alpha x q term it will contain. So, this is a vector. So, in that way we can take. So, for example, let us take a mass matrix like this. So, for example, this is M11, M12, M21, M22. So, this is equal to x1 double dot, x2 double dot, plus similarly I can write this is K11, K12, K21, K22. So, this is x1, x2. Similarly, for damping I can write this equal to C11, C12, C21, C22 into x1 dot, x2 dot. Now, for this this nonlinearity, let me write this in this way. So, as it is, we are taking x equal to x1 and x2. So, our nonlinearity can be in this form, that means it can be of x1 cube, it may be of x2 cube, it may be of x1 square x2 or x2 square x1. So, these are the 4 options for this nonlinearity. So, you have these 4 options. So, using these 4 options I can write, for example, I can write this is, for example, it is alpha 1 x 1 cube, alpha 1 x 1 cube plus alpha 2. So, let us put the subscript 1 1 also. So, in this case, so it will be alpha 2 1 alpha 2 1 x 2 cube or alpha 2 1 x 2 cube plus alpha 3 1. Okay, so let me put this way. So, alpha 1 2. So, this will be alpha 1 3. So, next time we will put alpha 1 3 alpha 1 3 x 1 square x 2 plus alpha 1 4 x 2 square x 1. So, this way you can write. Similarly, for the bottom part it will be, or for the other one it will be x 2 1 x 1 cube x, not x, this is alpha 2 1 alpha 2 1 x 1 cube alpha 2 2 x 2 cube alpha 2 3 x 1 square x 2 alpha 2 4 x 2 square x 2 square x 1. So, this way we can write all the nonlinear terms, then plus this forcing. So, forcing can be written for these two cases. So, it will be f 1 1 sin omega t. Similarly, the next one I can write f 2 1 sin. So, f 2 1 sin omega t. So, or you can write x, you can use omega 1 or omega 2 here also. So, now you can see, so we can uncouple this equation. So, if I will take, so let me take this part and this. So, I can take this to the right hand side and can write this equation in this form, that is m x double dot plus k x plus c x dot equal to. So, m x double dot plus c x dot plus k x equal to, I will take all the other things to right hand side and let me write this equal to f. So, f contain these nonlinear terms and this forcing term. So, it contains the nonlinear term and the forcing term of the system. So, as you are familiar with the modal analysis. So, in modal analysis how we proceed? So, we can do this modal analysis. So, generally in case of modal analysis we take this m inverse k. First step is take m inverse k equal to a. So, after taking this m inverse k equal to a, then we can write, also we can take this damping as the Rayleigh damping. So, Rayleigh damping can be, let me take this is equal to lambda 1 or alpha, we can take this is equal to alpha m plus beta k. So, this way we can take. So, these are known as the proportional damping. So, this is known as Rayleigh or proportional damping. So, Rayleigh damping or proportional damping. So, in case of this proportional damping, the damping term is considered to be proportional to this mass matrix and the stiffness matrix. So, after taking this m inverse k equal to a, so then we can find the eigenvalue and eigenvector of a. So, let lambda is the eigenvalue. So, if lambda is the eigen, so this is 2 is to 2. So, we can have lambda 1 and lambda 2 as the eigenvalue of A. So, corresponding to this eigenvalue, so we can have the eigenvectors also. So, let P is the eigenvectors of A. So, after finding this eigenvalue and eigenvector, so we know the property of this eigenvalue and eigenvector. So, we know that P transpose M P is a diagonal matrix. Similarly, P transpose K P is also a diagonal matrix. Otherwise, you can take, so using this orthogonality principle, so using this orthogonality principle, so we can reduce or we can uncoupled. So, we can uncouple this mass, stiffness and damping matrix. So, we can uncouple it. So, we can take P transpose M P, P transpose K P and we can uncouple, because this will becomes diagonal. So, otherwise one can take this weighted modal matrix also. So, P weighted modal matrix, P weighted modal matrix transpose M P. So, this is nothing but this is the I matrix, and then so P transpose K P. So, that is I matrix, and you can verify that P transpose this weighted modal matrix K P is nothing but, so it will contain. So, if we are taking 2 by 2, so it will contain lambda 1 and lambda 2. So, P transpose K P will contain this one. So, this is equal to also your 1 0 0 1. So, how to find this P weighted modal matrix? So, P weighted modal matrix can be obtained. So, by dividing this P, that is the modal matrix, divided by square root of the square root. So, it should be divided each column of this thing. So, now for example, so this is P 1 1, P 1 2, P 2 1 and P 2 2. So, in each column, so if we are dividing square root of this M, that means, so let us first find this P transpose M P. P transpose M P, already we know that this is equal to a diagonal matrix. So, in this diagonal matrix, this will be, let it is M 1 1 and this is M 2 2. So, the first column should be divided by root over M 1 1 and the second column should be divided by root over. So, the first column should be divided by root over M 1 1 and the second column should be divided by root over M 2 2. So, this way, by dividing this M 1 1 and M 2 2, so here root over M 2 2, we will get the weighted modal matrix P. So, this is known as P weighted modal matrix. Weighted modal matrix. So, either by using this modal matrix method or by using this weighted modal matrix method. So, we can find or we can uncouple the equation, and by on. So, now let us see. So, now our equation becomes, so for example, let me use this weighted modal matrix. So, our equation, original equation is m x double dot plus c x dot plus k x. So, I have taken all the terms, nonlinear terms, to right hand side. So, this is equal to, let it is equal to f. So, here what we are doing? So, now we are substituting, let us substitute x equal to P weighted modal matrix into y. So, x equal to P weighted modal matrix into y. So, in this case I can write this P weighted model matrix M. So, for x I can write it is equal to, so let me first write. So, M P weighted model matrix y double dot plus this, for C I can write this is equal to alpha m x dot. So, alpha m x dot can be written alpha m p y dot plus beta k p y dot. So, plus k p, this is weighted model matrix, this is weighted model matrix, weighted model matrix y. So, similarly in this F, so we have to substitute this F. In F also we have the term with x cube. So, or we have this x square. So, we have all the three terms are there, one is x 1 cube, second one is x 2 small x 1. So, x 1 cube, x 2. So, we have 4 terms are there. So, x 1 cube, x 2 cube, then x 1 square x 2 and x 2 square. So, these are small x 1 square x 2 and x 2 square x 1. So, we have these 4 terms inside this thing. So, there also we have to substitute this value and we can get this force, the forcing term which is a function of. So, this is a nonlinear term, but it will contain only single term. So, 2 terms will come into picture here. So, the nonlinear terms we have kept it in this and other terms are in the left hand side. So, our equation is now let us pre-multiplied by P weighted model matrix transpose. So, P weighted model matrix transpose M P weighted model matrix y double dot plus P weighted model matrix transpose M. So, alpha into M P weighted model matrix y dot. So, plus beta P weighted model matrix K P weighted model matrix y dot plus P weighted model matrix K P, this is transpose weighted model matrix y equal to P weighted model matrix into this F. So, this way we can now this left hand side you can see left hand side can be written. So, by uncoupled form. So, you will have one equation this way. So, this part is I. So, this is y double dot. So, y 1 double dot. So, you can have this equation y 1 double dot plus. So, you can use some term, for example, alpha 1 y dot y 1 alpha 1 y 1 dot plus beta 1 y 1 dot. So, this will be equal to some term. So, which is a function of all these things. So, will be there. So, it can be converted into y form. So, it will be equal to f 1. Similarly, we can have the second equation. So, which is uncoupled also in this. So, this is y 2 double dot plus alpha 2 y 2 dot plus beta 2 y 2 dot. Okay, so, here also we can have another term, that is lambda 1 plus lambda 1 y 1. So, here we will have lambda 2 y 2. So, this is equal to f 2. So, this way you will get two equations, but note that this right hand side f 1 f 2 contain this coupled term of x 1 and x 2, but in the left hand side we have the terms uncoupled terms. So, it is reduced to similar to that of the first. So, similar to first single degree of freedom systems, and you can use different methods to solve this equation. So, particularly you may be using, you may use the ODE 45 or the fourth and fifth order Runge-Kutta method to find the solution of this thing. first you have to find this y1 y2 and then you can replace or use this equation again to convert back to in terms of x. So, you can plot this x versus t or x1. So, you can plot x1 versus t and x2 versus t to find the time response of this thing. So, this way you can reduce your multi degrees of freedom system to that of a single degree of freedom system and you can solve this thing. For example, so we have a equation, we have a system. So, where this is the case of a vibration observer where we have two mass. So, in case of already you are familiar with the tuned vibration observer where the primary system is the vibration of the primary system is completely observed by using a secondary tuned mass damper system. So, for example, so if you have a system like this, so this is the primary system and you have a secondary system. So, already you know that this is m1, this is m2 and let it is subjected to a force F sin omega t. It is known to you that at omega equal to omega n. So, you have maximum response amplitude. So, if you have a damper, so otherwise it will go to infinite. So, if in without damping, so the value is infinite, but if you have a damper then this is reduced to it has a finite value. So, this is your x1 or x versus t. So, x versus omega by omega n, but if you put a secondary spring mass system, for example, this is K2 M2, K2 M2. So, you have to choose this parameter K2 M2 in such way that, so this omega will be equal to root over K2 by M2. So, this is the principle of tuned vibration observer, but in many times this omega, by changing this omega. So, you have to change this spring and mass again and again to avoid that thing. So, you can put a piezoelectric patch here. So, by putting a piezoelectric patch, by applying this external electric field, so you can change the stiffness of the system and you can control the or observe the vibration of the system actively. So, by putting the damper actually, so as you know, so the damping for example is not applicable for a value higher value of omega by omega n. So, you can find by using this damping, so the system will have different type of response or the system response can be analyzed in a different way. Also one may see that there may be some time lag between when you are applying the force and when the response is taking place. So, to accommodate all the things, so you can have a complicated system when you can take the time delay in the system. Also further you can complicate the system by using nonlinear spring. For example, here you have taken the nonlinear spring in the primary case, you can take the nonlinear spring in the secondary case also. So, if you are taking the nonlinear spring in the primary case, so as you can take also the base to be vibrating. So, let the base is vibrating with y equal to y0 cos omega t and so the vibration of the primary mass equal to x1. So, there will be a relative displacement of the spring. So, the spring, so this will be equal to x1 minus y. Similarly, for the damper it will be x1 dot minus y. Similarly, for the case of the secondary spring, so the displacement will be x2 minus x1 and for the damper also it will be x2 dot minus x1 dot. So, this way you can write down this equation of motion. So, which will be in this form of coupled equations. So, you can see this here you have x1 double dot. So, another x1 double. So, though the mass matrix is uncoupled, but the stiffness and damping matrix are coupled, along with you have the nonlinear terms also. So, in this case by using this modal analysis method, first you can uncouple this equation particularly only up to this linear spring and linear damper. All the nonlinear terms you may shift to the right hand side and you can do your analysis. Otherwise, you can apply this method of multiple scales what you have studied before and you can, or you may use this harmonic balance method. So, here the harmonic balance method is used in this case. So, u 1 equal to a t 1 cos omega t 1 minus psi 1 tau 1. So, to where tau is the, so here the tau you can take as the time, non dimensional time also, tau 1 tau 2 are non dimensional time, this, or you can take tau as the delay also. So, by using this way, so you can reduce this original equation to this form. So, that is a 1, a 2, a 3, a 4. So, you have taken the state vector as a 1 dot a 1 psi 1 b 1 psi 2, where a and psi are the amplitude and phase of the primary system, and b and psi are the amplitude and phase of the secondary system. So, that way you can, by using this harmonic balance method, so you can solve this equation to find the response. So, this is the response of the systems. So, you can get, so already we know how to study the stability. Today we are going to study more on the stability and bifurcation. So, the purpose of showing you this thing is that, so you can observe that there are multiple equilibrium points, multiple equilibrium solutions for a given frequency. So, for example, for frequency omega equal to 1.5. So, you have, so this is one response. So, you have another value. So, if you can draw a line at 1.5. So, you can see, so you have, this is one response, this is also the other response. So, this way you can see that nonlinear system contain multiple solutions, and out of all the solutions, some solutions may be stable, some may be unstable. And you can see, for example, let me draw only this part of this curve. You can observe that, just you note the color of this thing. So, this has one color and this is the other color. So, it is shown that this red color is unstable and this color is stable. So, you just see previous to this point, the system has only, so this curve belongs to the linear system, and so this is for the linear system, and this curve for the nonlinear system it is plotted. So, for the linear system, so you can observe that for certain value of system parameter, so you can obtain two equal peaks, approximately equal peaks in the response. And for the nonlinear curve, so you just observe for the nonlinear curve, so up to certain value of omega, so you have only single solution, but after that thing, but after this thing, so you have multiple solutions. So, the system has multiple solution. So, out of those three solutions, two solutions are stable and one solution is unstable. So, previously also I have shown you the basin of attraction to study the response or to know this multiple response based on which initial conditions. So, we are getting the stable and unstable response of the system. Now, before this point, so you have only one solution, and after this point, so you have three solutions. So, there is a qualitative change, qualitative or quantitative change in the number of solutions. So, whenever there is a qualitative or quantitative change in the system response occur, so those points are known as bifurcation points. So, today class we are interested to study the bifurcation points. So, already we know what we mean by stable point, unstable point. If the response, if with slight perturbation in the response, if the response come back to the original position, then it is stable response. But if with slight perturbation, if the system response grows, then this becomes unstable response. So, sometimes also we use this word asymptotically stable. So, if with time t tends to infinity, the system response is stable, or it come back to the, if we displace from the original position, it come back to the original position, then it is asymptotically stable. So, all these things we have already seen, and today class also we will see what we mean by this bifurcation. Already we have studied this thing. So, for a given system d square f by dt, d square f by dt square plus f x equal to 0, second order equation. So, if you are, we can write them into first order equation, that is dx by dt equal to y and dy by dt equal to minus f x, and by writing this dx by dt in this form ax plus b and dy by dt in the form of cx plus d. So, already we know we can find the Jacobian matrix and finding the eigenvalue of the Jacobian matrix. So, we know we can write the in this form of, so this eigenvalue is lambda square minus trace lambda plus determinant equal to 0. So, from that thing, so we know our lambda, that is the eigenvalue, and we know, so if the eigenvalue is, if the real part of the eigenvalue is negative, then the system is stable, otherwise the system is unstable. And by plotting between relation between determinant and trace, also we know we will obtain the saddle node, saddle unstable nodes, then these unstable spirals, center, stable and unstable nodes also. So, with different examples also we have seen. So, d square x by dt square minus x equal to 0. So, in this case we can get a point. Similarly, in this case also d square x by dt square plus 3 x dot plus x. So, spiral we are getting, and here also we are getting the spiral, and here we are getting. So, d square x by dt square plus x equal to 0. So, here is the center we are getting. So, this way we got different type of responses. Also, some of the typical response what we may see also in these nonlinear systems. So, for example, let me plot this omega or a by omega n natural frequency. Sometimes you may plot this thing with respect to the detuning parameter sigma also. So, a versus sigma, amplitude versus sigma, if you plot. So, in these cases, so you can see sometimes the response will look like this, sometimes you can have multiple response. Here you just see, here you can observe. So, up to this point, this is 0 line. So, 0 line is also known as trivial state, trivial state, and so you should be familiar with the trivial state and non-trivial state. So, non-trivial state. So, x, so the response, when the response is 0, so that is trivial state. So, if you have non-zero response, so this is non-trivial state. So, up to this point, up to for example, sigma equal to this, so the system has a trivial state. Similarly, after this thing also the system has a trivial state. So, between these and this point, so you have seen, so by performing this eigenvalue analysis, so we have seen the system response is unstable. Up to this point the system has a stable and another unstable response and also one more stable response. So, what is happening here? So, if you take a point here, so it is going from stable to unstable. So, the system by slightly increasing the sigma value, the system will jump from this response to this response. So, it will go from this stable to this stable point. So, the system will jump from this to this. Similarly, at this point the system will have only the stable trivial state response. So, here you can observe the stability of the system is changing. So, the stability, the trivial state stability is changing from stable to unstable, and so before this bifurcation. So, this is known as a bifurcation point. So, if there is any qualitative or quantitative change in the response occur for a particular critical point, that critical point is known as the critical bifurcation point, and so these are known as the bifurcation points. There are several different type of bifurcation point. For example, in this type of bifurcation point, so you can see, so we have plotted only the upper half of the curve. So, one can plot the lower half of the curve also. So, the response, so initially the trivial state was stable, now the trivial state become unstable, leading to another stable non-trivial state. So, from this trivial, so from the trivial stable state it is going to non-trivial stable state and it looks like a pitchfork. So, this type of bifurcation is known as pitchfork bifurcation, pitchfork bifurcation. So, we will see how the eigenvalue changes in case of a pitchfork bifurcation. So, the pitchfork bifurcation can be, so here it is going from a stable trivial state to stable non-trivial state. In this case the pitchfork bifurcation is a continuous bifurcation point. So, it is a continuous bifurcation point, but in this case you just see here we have a stable branch and here also we have unstable branch and then we have a unstable trivial state. So, here we have a unstable trivial state, that means this stable trivial state and this unstable non-trivial state mix at this point, but it leads to an unstable trivial state. So, this type of bifurcation. So, here also you have a pitchfork type bifurcation. So, you just see it pitchfork towards the left, the curve what I have drawn. So, it pitchfork towards left, but so after this thing it is unstable. So, unstable means, so after this thing, so it will have a tendency to jump up, or because there is no other stable solution available near to this vicinity. So, it will jump up. So, this type of pitchfork bifurcation are known as unstable. This is subcritical pitchfork bifurcation. So, this pitchfork bifurcation, so which is continuous one. So, this is supercritical pitchfork bifurcation, and this pitchfork bifurcation which is discontinuous, after this it discontinue. So, the response will discontinue due to the presence of unstable state. So, it will be subcritical pitchfork bifurcation. You now know two different type of pitchfork bifurcation. So, one is supercritical pitchfork or continuous pitchfork bifurcation, and the other one is supercritical and subcritical pitchfork bifurcation. So, this is subcritical pitchfork or discontinuous bifurcation. Similarly, here also you can observe that thing. So, you have a pitchfork bifurcation here. So, if you decrease this value of sigma, it is going from stable trivial state to stable non-trivial state. So, this is a supercritical. So, this point is a supercritical pitchfork bifurcation point. So, this is a supercritical pitchfork bifurcation point. So, now you just see here. So, you can have multiple. So, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So, 5 states are there. So, multiple solutions are there. So, more than 2 stable states may be there also. So, if you have 2 stable state, then it is known as bistable. So, if you are 3 stable state, you will have tristable. So, that way, so you can have many stable state. At this point you can observe here, or at this point you can observe. So, there is a at this bend point you can see it is changing from unstable to stable. So, here also it is changing from unstable to stable. So, these type of bifurcations are known as saddle node bifurcation. So, this is and this. So, these 2 points are known as saddle node. So, these are saddle node bifurcation point. You just see after this thing there is no solution exist. So, in this branch there is no solution, though there are some other solutions, but in this branch there is no, after this thing in this branch there is no solution. So, these are known as saddle node bifurcation. Okay, so, this correspond to, so this sigma is known as saddle node bifurcation point. So, that sigma is known as saddle node bifurcation point. You can observe another type of bifurcation here. So, in this branch, part of this branch, so there is no bending here, but in this case what is happening? So, suddenly the stable state becomes unstable, and if you perform this analysis, you can see it gives rise to though this fixed point response is unstable, but it gives rise to periodic response. Near this thing, if you perform this analysis, so you can see it will give rise to another periodic response here. So, this non-trivial fixed point response is unstable, but there occur a periodic response which may be stable or unstable. So, these type of bifurcations are known as Hopf bifurcation. Hopf bifurcation. You have seen pitchfork bifurcation, saddle node bifurcation and Hopf bifurcation of the system. Already I told you, you can plot the basin of attraction. So, this is known as basin of attraction. Basin of attraction. So, when you have multiple solutions available, so by taking different initial conditions, so you can find the, so for what initial condition, so it is going to which attractor, which stable point it is going, those things you can study. So, here you can see clearly that this point is a saddle node bifurcation point, saddle node point. So, these are the stable nodes. So, stable points. So, corresponding to, so if you take a point for example here, so this is one stable, so this is one stable, but this one is the unstable branch. So, this one is the unstable branch. So, this is the unstable. So, this point is unstable and other two are stable points. Okay. This way already by performing or finding the Jacobian matrix. So, you can study, so whether the response is stable or not, but now you must know how to find the bifurcation points or what is the characteristic of this bifurcation point. This bifurcation, so it may be continuous bifurcation, so it may be discontinuous bifurcation. So, in this continuous case it may be static bifurcation or it may be dynamic bifurcation. So, in case of static bifurcation, so we have the saddle node bifurcation, pitchfork or symmetry breaking bifurcation, or we may have the transcritical bifurcation, and always these discontinuous bifurcation are explosive or dangerous bifurcation which one has to avoid. So, in case of continuous bifurcation, so we have seen the static and dynamic bifurcation. So, you know the system to be stable or unstable based on the real part of the eigenvalue. By checking the real part of the eigenvalue, so we generally tell that the system is stable or unstable. If you plot the real part and imaginary part of all the eigenvalues of a system, just you plot the real part and the imaginary part. So, let you have a multi degree of freedom system. So, in case of multi degrees of freedom system, you will have multiple eigenvalues. If the eigenvalue, so now by changing the system parameter, so for example, you have changed one of the system parameter and observed how the eigenvalues are changing. So, in that case, if it is passing through, for example, now you can have a pair of complex conjugate number eigenvalue. This pair of complex conjugate, let now it is crossing. So, then it becomes a real value, 2 equal roots. Now, it is crossing this thing, now it is crossing the imaginary part of the imaginary axis with value 0. So, if crosses by changing the parameter, so you have seen if it crosses the imaginary axis with 0 value, that means it will have a real part only, then this type of bifurcation is known as static bifurcation. So, in case of static bifurcation, the eigenvalue will have 0 imaginary part and 0 real part. So, it will have 0. So, at critical point it will have a 0 value, 0 real part and 0 imaginary part also. So, for static bifurcation. For dynamic bifurcation, so it will have, so it will cross the imaginary axis with non-zero value. So, it may cross the imaginary axis with non-zero value. So, if it is crossing this imaginary axis with non-zero value, that means the real part is 0. So, eigenvalue has imaginary, a pair of imaginary roots. So, due to this presence of this pair of imaginary roots, so it will have a frequency which will give or leads to a periodic response. If the imaginary part are non-zero, so when at this critical point, then it leads to off bifurcation point, but if the real parts are non-zero value, if the imaginary parts are 0, then it will you will have the static bifurcation. So, in case of static bifurcation, so you have three different type of bifurcation. One is the saddle node bifurcation, second one is the pitchfork or symmetry breaking, and third one is the transcritical bifurcation. So, let us see the saddle node bifurcation, its generic form and how you can find it. So, in case of the saddle node bifurcation, the normal form or a generic form of saddle node bifurcation can be given by this equation, that is x dot equal to mu minus x square. So, let us write down this equation, x dot equal to mu minus x square. We will take this equation and then as x dot equal to mu minus x square. So, in this case the fixed point will be, so by putting this x dot equal to 0, so we will get the fixed point 0 equal to mu minus x square or x square equal to mu or x equal to plus minus root over mu. So, this is the equilibrium point. So, the equilibrium point is x equal to plus minus root over mu. So, if we plot mu versus x, so we can get this curve. We will have a real value actually. So, if mu is greater than 0. So, before, so mu less than 0. So, mu, so this correspond to mu 0. For mu less than 0, so there is no solution available, but mu greater than 0, greater than equal to 0. So, we will have two branch of the solution. So, in this case you just see, so we have x equal to plus minus root mu. So, by taking a particular value, for example, let us take mu equal to 1. So, our equation becomes x dot equal to 1 minus x square, or we know, so we can write this x dot equal to f x. The Jacobian matrix, to find the Jacobian matrix, this is single degree of freedom equation. So, the or first order equation. So, in this case the Jacobian matrix you can find by del f by del x. So, del f by del x. So, in this case this is equal to mu minus 2 x square. So, this becomes minus 2 x. So, del f by del x becomes minus 2 x. If you put this Jacobian j minus lambda I form equal to 0. So, j minus lambda I equal to, putting j minus lambda I equal to 0. So, you got minus 2 x. So, minus 2 x minus lambda equal to 0 or lambda equal to minus 2 x. So, lambda equal to minus 2 x. Now, so you have two value of mu corresponding to one value of mu. So, you have two value of, so you have two value of x. For example, if you take mu equal to 1, so x equal to plus minus 1. So, this is x equal to plus 1. So, this is x equal to minus 1. For x equal to plus 1, so if I will take x equal to plus 1, so this lambda becomes minus 2. As lambda becomes minus 2, this is negative. So, this branch is stable branch. So, this is, so you can take one or two more points and you can verify that this branch is stable, because the eigenvalue, the real part, so the eigenvalue is only real. So, minus 2 and the eigenvalue is negative. So, lambda equal to minus 2. If you take some other point, for example, if you take mu equal to 4, then it will be plus minus 2, taking this plus 2. So, another point, if you take mu equal to 4, so then this is plus 2. So, if it is plus 2, then lambda equal to minus 4. So, lambda equal to minus 4, the real part is negative. So, this branch is stable branch. Similarly, now come back to this branch. So, in this branch x equal to minus 1. So, lambda equal to minus 2 into minus 1. So, this was 2. So, this is negative, this is positive. So, as lambda is positive, the real part of the eigenvalue is positive. So, this branch is unstable. So, this is a unstable branch. So, what you have seen, so at this critical point, so this is the critical point at which, so both stable and unstable branch, so it merge here at this point. So, at x mu equal to 0. So, mu equal to 0. So, before that thing there is no solution, and after this solution, after mu equal to 0. So, you have two branch of solution. So, there is a qualitative change in the number of solutions. So, that is why mu equal to 0 correspond to the bifurcation point. So, here the bifurcation is, so you just see as you are moving this value of mu. So, it is crossing the 0 line. So, imaginary part. So, it is crossing the real part. So, if you plot the real and imaginary. So, always you have, so you can find that it crosses the real axis or it crosses this S plane through the 0 value, that is imaginary part is also 0. So, that is why this is a static bifurcation, and this type of static bifurcations are known as saddle node bifurcation. So, this is for a first order equation. So, if you have second order equation, so you can write using two first order equation. So, this is the case of a typical case similar to that of a Duffing equation or some other type of equations also. So, in this case you can see or you can observe. So, you have two saddle node bifurcation points. Here also similarly you can find the Jacobian matrix. So, after finding the Jacobian matrix you just find lambda. So, after finding lambda, so corresponding to these points you can check that you can plot the real part and the imaginary part of the eigenvalue, and you can verify that it is passing through at this critical point, at this point and this point it crosses the imaginary axis with 0 value. So, these are, and it looks like saddle point. So, this is known as saddle node bifurcation point. So, this is, these two are the saddle node bifurcation point. Similarly, let us see one more case, pitchfork bifurcation. So, already I have shown this pitchfork bifurcation. Here the mu, so let me take this pitchfork bifurcation. So, x dot equal to, so the first order equation if you understand, then you can understand the other equation mu x minus x square. For fixed point this x dot equal to 0. So, 0 equal to mu x minus x square. So, if you take x common, so this becomes x into mu minus x, x equal to 0 is a solution and x equal to mu is also a solution. This would be mu x minus x cube, mu x minus x cube. So, in this case x cube, so this becomes x square. So, mu, so x square equal to mu. So, you have two solutions. So, one is x equal to 0. So, that is the trivial state, and the other one is mu equal to x square or x equal to plus minus root mu, as you have seen in the previous case. Corresponding to this plus minus mu, so you will have two branches. So, this is one more branch, this is also one more branch. In addition to that you have the trivial state. So, this is the trivial state and these two are the non-trivial state. Similarly, here, so you have these two are the non-trivial state and corresponding to this is this trivial state. If now for example, you reduce this value by reducing this from the stable non-trivial state. So, this type of bifurcation is known as supercritical pitchfork bifurcation, and here, so from a stable it is going to unstable. So, that is why, or from unstable it is going to another unstable and stable. So, this is known as subcritical pitchfork bifurcation. So, this is subcritical and this is supercritical pitchfork bifurcation. So, this is the generic form of this thing. So, you can prove this thing. So, by plotting this one, so by plotting, so actually by plotting this thing, so you can check. So, one is your 0 line. So, 0 line is stable. So, up to this it is stable, and you can verify that these two branches are stable and this becomes unstable after this point. So, this is a pitchfork bifurcation point, and this type of bifurcation point where mu x minus x square you are taking. So, if x dot equal to mu x minus x square, by putting 0 equal to, if you take x common, so this is the things, x equal to 0 is a solution and x equal to mu is also a solution. So, these are the straight lines. So, x equal to 0, this is the trivial state, and x equal to mu. So, this line is x equal to mu. So, this is another line. So, now to study the stability, now you find the Jacobian matrix. So, your f x equal to mu x minus x square. So, differentiating this thing. So, your A will be equal to mu minus 2 x. So, A minus lambda I equal to 0 if you do. So, lambda will be equal to mu minus 2 x. So, lambda equal to mu minus 2 x. So, now let us take a point here. So, if you take a point there, so you can see, let us take a point and check. So, this is on the 0 line, x equal to, for example, let us take minus 5. So, if we will take, so for example, let us take mu value equal to 0. So, this is lambda equal to mu minus 2 x. So, this line is mu and this is your x line. So, you can plot this is x and this is mu, x axis and mu. Just to verify, so what is the value? So, here you can verify for x equal to 0. So, we have taken x equal to 0. So, x equal to 0. So, in this case lambda will be equal to, when you are taking x equal to 0. So, lambda equal to mu. So, if mu is negative, then automatically lambda is negative and hence the system is stable. So, up to this, then this is stable. So, after that, so if mu is positive, this part is positive, that means the eigenvalue is positive. So, the response is unstable. So, you have a stable response here. So, you have an unstable response here. Now, take this branch. So, if you take this branch, so in this case this is x equal to mu. So, we have taken x equal to mu. So, lambda will be equal to mu minus 2 mu, this becomes minus mu. For so mu less than 0, this becomes minus minus plus. So, this becomes positive. So, that is why this real part is positive, this becomes unstable, and for positive part this is minus mu. So, this becomes negative. So, this eigenvalue becomes negative, real part of the eigenvalue becomes negative. So, that is why this is stable. So, here what you have observed, so a stable branch, stable trivial and unstable non-trivial branch change their sign here, and this becomes this non-trivial branch becomes stable. So, from unstable to stable, and the trivial branch become from stable to unstable, they are changing their stability. So, this type of bifurcation is known as transcritical bifurcation. Today class we have studied the static bifurcation points. So, these 4 different type or 3 different type of static bifurcation points, that is saddle node bifurcation point, pitchfork bifurcation point and transcritical bifurcation points. And tomorrow class we are going to see or study about the Hopf bifurcation point. So, here we can see at the bifurcation point stable fixed point branch becomes unstable fixed point branch, but it will give rise to a periodic response. So, tomorrow class will study about the Hopf bifurcation, and also we will study other different type of responses for the nonlinear systems. Thank you.